I learned to write not for applause, but for survival. Thanks for joining me. Learning to Write Myself Back by Ember Tales. I learned to write so I wouldn't disappear, so I wouldn't forget the dreams that kept me company night after night. I put pen to paper so the characters I loved would always stay close, reminding me some small spark still burns. Proof I haven't been extinguished yet. The words let me breathe, gave me worlds to help me understand this one and where I fit. And never forced me to smile, never begged, never manipulated me for things I didn't want to give. Blank pages became a reprieve from the pressure of always being the perfect golden girl. I learned to write so I could find the piece of myself I abandoned long ago. They taught me how to behave, not how to feel, taught me when to speak, not what I believed, taught me how to shine for other people's applause, but never asked what I wanted when the lights went out. Writing became the one place where I didn't need permission to take up space, where messy was welcome, where pain could be named without being polished into something easier to swallow. Because outside the page, I was praised for obedience, but inside it, I learned to question, to rage, to mourn, to grieve, to create, to say no. I wrote when I wasn't allowed to scream. I wrote when the mask slipped. I wrote when silence felt like a second skin, tight and choking, stitched together by other people's expectations. My notebook was my rebellion, my safe house, my scream in the dark. It never asked me to perform joy. It held my grief when no one else wanted to, held my fear, my fury, my freedom in trembling ink. I wrote stories where people like me didn't flinch at raised voices, didn't fold in corners, didn't shrink themselves to survive. They say writing isn't therapy, but they've never been a girl with a pen and too many feelings with nowhere to put them. Never been the one staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. with a heart too loud and a mouth sealed shut. I bled my truths into journal margins because real conversations were landmines. So I wrote to stay sane. I wrote to stay me. Sometimes the only voice I recognized was the one that echoed back in ink, and piece by piece, line by trembling line, I began to rewrite the story they wrote for me. A new plotline stitched from softness and scars and questions I finally had the guts to ask. I wrote until I stopped flinching at my own reflection, wrote until I saw a girl I didn't hate. One with jagged edges and a voice that no longer asked if she was allowed to speak. I'm still learning that survival is not the same as living. but the words they lead me back to breath, to choice, to becoming. So I write not to impress, not to escape, but to arrive, to be fully here, fully present, fully whole, fully mine. I write because I refuse to vanish, because I am not just what they made me. I am what I make with my own two hands, my own raw voice, my own unfinished yet unshakable self. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Bye.